A 1, 2, 3.
Gonna walk that promenade, yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade, be the talk of that promenade, looking for a star drifter, not a shapeshifter, lots to do and more to see, sweet sticks from a jump tree, oh, oddities, opportunities, free advice, but not for cheapo gambling wheels, shaded deals, meet me back here tomorrow, please. Walk that promenade. Yeah, we're gonna rock that promenade.
Hello and good evening for this Monday, March 4th, 2024, Star Trek DS9, Season 7, Episode 15, Badda-Bing Badda-Bang is over, and it has been since 1999, but we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast for a review of this episode. A live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us an audio version as we continue our ongoing journey to watch and talk about every episode of Star Trek DS9. I am Dave Mader, and I'm joined with a great panel here tonight. Start up first. We got the ever salty, the guy, the made man himself. We got Jody Simpson.
I'm always salty.
Salty, but I also made you tonight, so there you go.
You made me.
Yeah, well, I was thinking because we had Frankie Eyes in this one, you know.
I see.
Man, you can't touch him. Can't touch him.
What can you do?
Yeah, coming off, well, I guess it was all of us, coming off of a great comeback victory on Saturday in our final curling game. It's the inimitable Kevin Millard.
Hello. I think I might be the salty one today.
Okay,
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're going to be tag team in this one.
We got some high sodium content here, guys. As we're continuing into this one, maybe it's all the Italian food for this.
Only 3% in this can.
Bada bing, bada boom, kind of theme here. This is the 165th episode of Deep Space Nine. As mentioned, also the 15th episode of this 7th season, guys. Let's talk about the spoilers if you haven't seen this episode, but it has been out for 25 years, as mentioned. Oh, and Sam started off with how my dad's doing. Yes, because how does he even know?
That's a great question. I was just going to ask you that myself.
Other
than the three people here, how do you know anything about this?
You must have posted something, because my mom knew too. So,
okay. Well, I did mention it in my Facebook post. Okay. So
maybe Sam follows you on Facebook.
Maybe he does, and I don't know it. It was a public post, so it's quite possible. Yes. So we were curling on Saturday. There was the Battle of the Sexes Bonspiel, and my dad was also in it. And we were just having our drinks. Me, Jody, and Kevin, and our friend Cole. And then they said, "Oh, somebody's down on the ice," and we're like, "Well, there's nothing we can do about it."
Yeah.
And
we're not medical personnel.
We're not medical personnel. And then they're like, "No,
drink.
Dad." And I was like, "You're right, I'm not." But then I had to go, and he's okay, but he's going to have to avoid screens and bright things for the next couple of days. As he was messaging us back last night, I'm like, "No, put your phone away."
Put your damn phone away.
So,
well, we wish him a speedy recovery for sure.
Yes, he needs. Yeah, but it was scary for sure. So thank you for asking.
I was even scared. Not even my dad.
Yeah, as it turns out, you only get one brain. Hard to replace. So,
maybe he'll think about Gary 7 differently now.
maybe this is what he needed to turn him around.
Maybe this was it.
Maybe he hit his head so hard he now realizes it's a bad episode.
There you go. Maybe.
But it's possible. Sam saw on Instagram. He said,
there you go.
He follows me on Instagram, which it does feed from my Facebook, which makes
there
sense.
you go. That makes sense.
This has been your curling corner moment with Dave Mader. That's right. No, I mean, we've never seen curling.
I won a game.
We did win a game.
Yeah, there's no space curling. What's going on with that?
No space curling. There was we saw Tom Harris and Harry Kim playing hockey one time.
That's true. We did. Yeah.
But that's as ice as it got, I guess.
And of course, water polo because it's so popular.
Water polo,
Best
for
sport
sure.
in the world. If you ask Jonathan Archer. Anyway, guys, but back on track here. We gotta be in Vegas mode here, baby. There's no sometimes there's curling in Vegas now, but that's beside the point. But guys, we're talking about the another Vic Fontaine episode, maybe the most Vic Fontaine of any episode.
There's a lot of Vic Fontaine in this episode.
Coming off
considering he's literally the lead character of this.
More or less. It's like it's his episode, in some ways. So I think okay, I'll tell you guys what I think, but let's start with you, Jody. What do you think of Badda-Bing Badda-Bang?
Well, if I wanted to watch Ocean's 11, I would go watch the movie. That's literally what this is. This is a complete ripoff of Ocean's 11 for the most part, and I'm not even talking the Clooney one. I'm actually talking the other one, the original Sinatra one. Which is fine. If you're gonna make a parody, that's fine. I'm so sick of the trope of the holodeck gone wrong. It's just, and obviously these are holo suites, but that doesn't change anything. It's still
totally different. It's a holo suite. Yes.
No, it's the exact same thing. But it's just, I don't know. I found it boring. I thought the dialogue was not really great. Like there was a couple times where it was funny, like Odo's line about where he's from. Bejor. Oh, is that in Jersey? Yeah, it's in Jersey. That was a funny joke, but
right,
there wasn't that many more of those. Well, that's the problem with this episode.
Okay, Kevin,
I didn't find it great.
I didn't realize we had AI back then. Did AI write this? This is soulless crap.
Oh, AI, if I wrote, it would actually be better.
Yeah, it's a soulless representation of Ocean's 11. There's nothing here. Nothing.
No. They had Irish Stephen Bear and Hans Beimler to write this.
They almost make a point with Cisco and Cassidy. That's a great conversation. It's unfortunate it's only 4 lines or so.
It's short.
And it's near the end of the episode too. So
but the whole episode could have been exploring the idea of how we whitewash history through the holodeck and all that, but they do nothing with it. They make this great point and then do fuck all with it. It's
Cassidy shuts him down basically. It's just
but they both had a great point, but then they don't explore it.
Well, and it gets back to the episodes of being holier than thou Cisco, right? Like it always comes down to moral dilemma Cisco in these type of episodes, and it's like, but there really wasn't anything there. Like they didn't do anything with it.
Well, the only stakes in the episode is Vic Fontaine could get deleted, right? Because otherwise, there's nothing, there's no danger or peril. So if you like Vic Fontaine, and how can you not? He's a good character, I think. He's not terrible. Then
he's a filler character for sure.
So I think that I like him, but I'm not. If we never had another Vic Fontaine episode after It's Only a Paper Moon, it would be fine.
Absolutely.
It's
or at least make something as good as a Paper Moon. Like that would be
like just thinking ahead to the finale, of what we left behind, which is, still a few episodes away for us. But basically like the show and the crew, the last time they're together is going to be at Vic's. And I don't know if that's always sat well with me, because I'm like, why wouldn't you want all the people to be together in Quarks, like in the station? Vic's is something they don't even introduce until season 6, I think, or maybe 5.
5, I think,
yeah. So it comes late. I think like Vic
it's
Fontaine,
essentially the poker table from TNG, right? Like that's literally how they treat it in the finale. Is like the Vic Fontaine thing is really just the poker table of TNG.
Well, kind of like the final shot is on the promenade with Cassidy and James looking out. But yeah, it's kind of like but Cisco goes off to fight Ducat after the scene in Vic's, and so that's the last time like Cisco and the crew are together is at Vic's. And I was like, well, if I think they decided they were going to do that in the finale, and I feel like they needed this episode to justify it, because Cisco had nothing with this character, with this Vic Fontaine stuff at all. So they almost needed this. They need this episode in a sense, and it I liked it more at the time. like you say, they're ripping off the Ocean's 11 from 1960, which I've never even seen the original. The remake didn't come out till 2 years after this.
No, they're not ripping off the Clooney one. They're ripping off the original Sinatra one,
right?
the Rat
Which
Pack one.
And I think they're going well. At that point, it's almost a 40-year-old movie, right? So
but it is a straight ripoff. Like put the stuff in the garbage cans, that kind of thing.
Right.
It totally is.
Yeah, well, the fine line between ripping off and homage, if you will, or just like when they did the O'Brien infiltrates the Orion Syndicate, and we're like, this is basically Donnie Brasco,
Essentially,
it just is Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, it really is.
Which was also very popular in the 90s, right? So
but it had O'Brien, so automatically it's better.
Yeah.
My problem with this episode too is that it's supposed to be fun, and it's not.
No.
It's not. There's
no
real
holosuite,
jokes.
holodeck. Yeah, those things are supposed to be interesting and fun and out of the, they're out of the realm of the norm, like for having the series, right?
Like if you compare this to Take Me Out to the Holosuite, it's night and day.
No comparison.
Night and day.
I hate baseball, and that's still a much better episode.
Yeah.
Right. I like Take Me Out to the Holosuite better than this too. This is kind of fun in a sense, but I don't know.
I don't find it that.
I didn't find it fun. I found it almost a chore to watch. Like it was, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It aggravates me, but it's so bland that I can't be mad at it. But
Norman's correcting us here, saying season 6 is when Vic is introduced, and late in that season.
Well, Norman knows his crap, so.
Yeah.
I'm
going
with Norman on that one.
I think the Vic Fontaine character, hologram, whatever, I think he kind of fits into the ensemble in some sense, just like Lita does, just like Rom does, whatever, all these kind of secondary characters, Martok, whoever. But I think he gets so much. They just clearly Ira Stephen Bear loved this bit and this angle and whatever, right? And
well, and I think for a certain point, production studios have sets that work really well for this type of thing automatically. Like they already have bar sets up their ass. Like these are very common areas, right? Like nightclubs and stuff like that. So it probably was fairly cheap to.
I think that's probably a factor, but I think it's also just that they got this sort of reverence for the Sinatra Rat Pack years, and they just want to see how much they can put that in a space show. So,
but I think this is a very good indication as to why this series may have ran a year too long, and this is part of it.
The more I've been like maybe I'm gonna feel better after we get into like the real like ramp up final story, which is like basically like an 8-parter. In a lot of ways, like the finale of this show. Maybe I'm gonna feel different, but I feel like, this show could have ended at season 6. The more I'm going here, it's just like,
there are some nice episodes in season 7, but it's just there's not that many of them. Like it's a lot of it just feels like filler. Like most of the Esri episodes are filler. It's just right. I'd rather they just killed her off and don't even bring back Jadzia. Just call it a day. But
well, I'm sort of past that.
It has nothing to do with Esri. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the actress is all right, but except for her fake crying, she can't fake cry to save her life. But
well, she's okay. She's not even my problem, really. It's more.
No. The problem is not her. No, don't get me wrong.
It's more the types of stories they're telling.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's
like
exactly
in this story, what has gone wrong with the holosuite? It's nothing, right? This is just the way the program was written.
Correct.
Essentially.
Right. So thank you for that. For nothing. So nothing's gone wrong. Everything is normal. This is just them playing in the holosuite for no stakes.
And this guy Felix, who created the program, Norman points out, he does create a program. Is Vic sentient? Like, let's say he is. Let's say he's as sentient as like the EMH on Voyager is, at least. Sure. And he's like, okay, here's your program, but your Jack in the Box is you could die. It's kind of weird. It's there's kind of some different tones here.
And and this Felix guy, he couldn't change it. He can't reprogram.
He can't give you a password, to say.
He didn't install a backdoor on this,
a cheat code. No, you have to be. You have to.
But not only that, but you got O'Brien on you know, you got O'Brien here. Like O'Brien, like does some crazy shit. Like he manages to pull off some crazy shit through his career with Starfleet. So it's like, you tell me he can't just debug some code and figure this out? Like,
does this
really have to go
episode
through this?
prove that Worf is the smartest character on the station?
No,
Because he's like, I don't want any part of this hologram heist shenanigans. Vic Fontaine's like,
I think maybe it was probably more of a request from Michael Dorn. He's probably like, I really don't want to be associated with this episode. Can I not be in it?
It seems like the kind of thing Michael Dorn would want to be in, but
to me, this is trying to be again, but also trying to recapture like Our Man Bashir, which was way better than this.
Funny
way
you
better
mention
than
that.
This.
Wrong.
Actually, it's a simple thing,
yes.
but they wanted to recapture, a simple thing. But I think some of my favorite things, I like the style, I like them in the suits. I also think like Nana Visitor in some of her dresses looks amazing. Like she's like
I have nothing against the costumes. Like,
yeah, but I was like, has Nana Visitor always been this sexy? Like, god damn it! In this episode,
she was a very nice looking woman.
You know, and more
still
so
is
she's
technically.
Right. You know, and in Esri too, and whatever. But that's not even really all. It's just like, I guess, like the fun of that era of like dressing up and like being in that sort of decor and whatever is kind of romantic, I guess, or I don't know what the word to put on
gangster,
it.
Gangster,
and you throw in some gangsters. And on that note, guys, let's jump into our screenshots and just quickly run through this plot.
Well, it won't take long.
I still somehow ended up with 500 shots. I think just because there's so many cuts in the heist. So we'll get through it. But this opening is pretty simple. It's basically that we're at Vic's. Vic is talking to Bashir and O'Brien because Bashir and O'Brien want him to come play in their Alamo program, like in this Davy Crockett or whatever. And he doesn't want to do it. Like, even though he can go to another holosuite, he can go to another holodeck program. He doesn't. He's like, I don't want to do that. You know, he's like, keep the thing, and I'm going to sing a song about Texas, which they wrote just for the show.
Wait, I'm already plot hole.
Standing around.
I was going to play the Alamo. But
sorry. Why don't they just do that? Why don't they just move him to another holosuite?
Or, like a new program.
Like, just go grab your USB key, put them on there, and walk them over to the other server. Like,
we're gonna build We're gonna build a new Vegas program, and we're just gonna move you over. You're right, Kevin. This could have been over very quickly. Okay,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the song.
That's true.
Well, this is a song they wrote just for the show. It's not even a cover of like a Sinatra. And here we go.
Standing around by the Alamo, walking around in San Antonio, looking around for a new kind of love.
And that's okay. So he's singing this song for them, but then there's this weird hijinks in the middle of it all, where suddenly this kind of empty lounge changes, and all of a sudden it's like a big cabaret, and like it's crowded, and it seemed like actually more fun place to be. To me, but they don't like it as much. Like there's raunchy dancers, people are yelling up at Vic. It's going kind of weird here, guys. It's sleazy, it's raunchy. There's women with gloves, and they're coming out. I don't know what else to say about that, but it's quite confusing here as everyone's up in arms. Vic's like, he doesn't even know what's going on. And just then we get our villain for the episode, guys. Frankie Eyes. Bastard. He used to beat him in stickball and he never got over it.
Yeah, the other thing I want to point out is how dark this episode is. Like, somebody didn't put the gain on this one very good.
No, well, I think they were trying to make it like darker under the Frankie Eyes administration versus like Vic's is normally bright and good.
I guess, but like half the time, like I couldn't see anything on the screen. Like it was so dark.
yeah, especially
like,
with
you
this
can see in your screenshots. Like
with Frankie Eyes wearing the dark suit too, it really seems like he's a floating head in a couple shots.
Yeah, I think the lighting guys had the day off.
Yeah, what they were trying to do here. But anyway, we find out that they know each other from the old neighborhood in Philly. I couldn't help but think about Mott when I was watching this stuff. A couple of Philly guys, that's how it goes. In the neighborhood, South Philly, we're told they're from. But Frankie I says, I bought this club. Vic, and you're finished. You've been blackballed throughout all Vegas. You can't even work as a singing busboy anymore. I don't know. This guy. Is this what happens in Ocean? I guess this is what happens. This is the Andy Garcia character from Ocean's 11, basically, or something. Oh, and Frankie Ice has his goon guy or whatever. They try to get the computer to end the program or whatever, but nothing works. Apparently, that's also part of the program. You can't even end the program.
So you can't turn it off.
Can't turn it off.
That seems like a great feature.
Like they did this on purpose. Felix programmed this on purpose.
Yes, apparently.
Okay. I don't understand what the hell's going on in the Federation.
No, neither did the writers.
Okay, anyway, so but our cold open is basically Vic is being throttled by this holographic mob goon, and Frankie Eyes says, "You're done, Vic. What's a boy to do?" And that's our intro for the episode.
Great.
After the credit,
I like that. Right.
After the credits, we just pick up where we left off back in the Hollow Suite in the Vic's Lounge, where they were getting, we get a while before we even get to the title card here. Basically say, what's going on, Vic? What's happening? I wish I knew, guys, but I knew Frankie Eyes from the old neighborhood in Philly, and things are going on here. So Vic and Brian are just left clueless. Just want to point out Bobby Riley is in this episode as well. You may know him as oh no, this one. Oh wait, no, not that one.
What's the spot on right now? Go for
this it must be this one.
Yes, I know. On. Whoa!
There we go. I got it. I should have just went and got
it. It only took 5, but we got it.
I couldn't remember which number it was on. But Bobby O'Reilly, Gowron himself, is in this episode. I'll point him out when we get there.
Good old Gowron.
Chip Meyer. Anyway, so we go over to Ops in the next scene where they're basically, I guess O'Brien and Bashir have been explaining this to Nog, Worf, Bashir. I don't know if Ezri's here for this scene. I don't think she is. But basically Worf's like, they're like, don't you want to help Vic? And isn't he your friend? And whatever. He's like, I like his singing, but he is a hologram.
He is a hologram, and therefore he does not exist.
He does not exist. I'm indifferent. I don't like him or dislike him. I'm indifferent to him. He's a hologram.
I'm just gonna let you know, guys, that might be one of the smartest things Worf's ever said in any of the Star Trek episodes.
Well, yeah, and I'm always like, well, is Vic sentient or not? Is Vic sentient the way Data's sentient? I don't know. Like, it's very confusing, but it's got a take on this.
Yeah, if the EMH is sentient, then he is.
They don't really explore it, yeah. But anyway, Worf's like, I'm not. Whatever you guys are doing, I'm not into it. Cisco's going to come out in a second and yell at all y'all, and I'm not going to.
He's like, how about getting back to work, assholes?
Yeah, that's what he literally says, right?
Yeah, literally.
They're trying to figure out a way to do it. Just then, like, Cisco pops out of his office and he's like, yo, what's going on? And they're like, well, we're trying to figure out this Vic Fontaine stuff. And of course, Bashir has no reason to be in ops ever. He works in the infirmary, but he's always up here kind of causing problems, and Cisco don't like it. Cisco, this is one of his other issues with Bashir, guys.
Well, Bashir's like that coworker that you have that never is where they're supposed to be. Like they're always like they're always in the lunchroom, or they're always like behind your desk.
That's kind of the move of the Doctor in Star Trek. In all Star, they're always on the bridge.
Though, yeah.
Why are they always on the bridge?
Yeah, McCoy was always there too.
He's a McCoy-like Doctor.
Yeah,
Beverly Crusher less so. She was not.
Crusher was in the sick bay a lot. Like she was,
and then Voyager, they had to make it so he couldn't leave for the first few.
They're like, you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah, you're not even invited to the meetings. Get out of here. So, but Cisco tells them all to go back to work. He doesn't engage with them, and they're like awkward. And then when Cisco leaves, like, Dog's like, I still want to help. Let's help Vic. If Vic hadn't helped me, my Starfleet career would be over. He gives no credit to Ezri, because why would he? For his recovery, she's always
busy catching murderers.
Yes, her brother. But anyway, that's another story. So they're trying to figure this out. But and then that's the scene where they explain to us it was a Jack in the Box. This is something done on purpose in the holo program to make sure it doesn't get stale. Okay. Anyway, then we get the scene here with Cassidy and Cisco at dinner, and it's a bit of an awkward dinner, guys. There are more lights on Titan. We're
True.
But Cassidy's been recruited for this mission to try to help Vic, and she's trying to tell Ben about it, and he's not super enthused. He's kind of like, this is kind of dumb, and to Cisco's defense, there is a war going on. People are dying out there every day, and we're worried about
they're hanging out in the holodeck.
We're worried about Frankie Eyes, guys.
Yeah.
So I kind of see
I like both of these scenes with just the two of them. I think that Cassidy is a criminally underused character.
Yes.
In his life. She's awesome. And they started off strong with her with being like with helping the Maquis and all that, and then they just dropped her completely. It's crazy.
The show does have so many characters they need to sort of cycle in all the time, but it is something.
Just like Cisco showing up. Look
late
who's
to the
on
party.
Stage.
Sorry, at the same time.
Jaemeel.
It's like I planned it.
It's almost like you're our Cisco.
Well, welcome, sir, to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you. Happy Monday. So we're just getting to this scene here where it was initially where Cassidy's telling Ben Cisco about this plan to help Vic, and he's not super into it. He doesn't think it's super important. How do you feel about this scene? And we'll get to the other scene that comes later, Jaemeel. But
it's not like there's a war happening,
right?
Wait,
people
hold on.
There's a
jobs. There's a war? We don't have time to do this stupid shit.
We don't even have time for an episode about that. We have to let alone talk about it.
I do find it hilarious that this technically is like the wrapping up of an arc for Vic. So Vic gets an arc, but majority of the main characters on Deep Space Nine in season 7 don't get anything.
Don't get anything. Yeah.
They're just there.
Yeah.
And Ezra gets too much. But yeah,
the showrunners were like, Ezri and Vic, we need to really focus in on the key players for this final season.
Those are the fan favorites. Let's move with them.
That's accurate. It feels like they're like, no one likes Worf anymore. Let's get him off. Like, he's barely in the show in this final season, which I think is the other like real tragic thing here. Because Jeff nailed it when he said when they killed Jadzia, they kind of killed Worf too, because
I'd agree with that.
A lot of like his stuff was all around Jadzia and how fun that was and how good those two were together. And that's all gone now, right? So anyway, but
go ahead.
Well, I just move into the next scene. But unless you want to touch on anything else.
Nope. Let's keep going.
Okay, so Vic, so
Bashir train going.
Bashir and O'Brien go to see Vic in the holosuite just to kind of tell him we got a team together. We're going to help you. But poor Vic. He's been roughed up here, guys. He's had a rough time. He's got broken ribs. He's got, luckily his head's not damaged. It's not his.
What is he doing to him there?
Checking his ribs.
He's checking his ribs for.
Okay, because
he's got holographic broken ribs.
Ribbed for his pleasure.
Ribbed for his pleasure, baby.
But he's saying, "Oh, I just fell down some stairs, and what does O'Brien say? Like, oh, and you just happened to upend all the furniture in the process." He's like, "Yeah, something."
Blood's different on his shirt now, though.
O'Brien said, I fell down the stairs. It's like, oh, and you upended all the furniture looking for a Band-Aid, right? Okay.
Right.
I thought it was a clever line.
That was a good line.
I think it's interesting that they I don't know, like the crew kind of act like they don't really know about gangsters and organized crime, but on the other hand, O'Brien did infiltrate the Orion Syndicate, and that's basically the same thing. So I don't know. There's anyway, but they're I'm trying to figure out what happens with the conversation. The substance of this conversation was between these three.
There was none.
There wasn't
substance
wasn't there. Yeah.
Okay. Then we go to the lounge, not Vic's lounge, but now Frankie I's lounge, where the cabaret is going on. Oh yeah, this is where Odo and Kira show up, and Odo is like super horny for the cabaret dancers.
Yes. I was like what?
again, we just established he's not humanoid, and he's not like he doesn't have a real they're all approximations, right? Like, so he doesn't eat.
Just remember, he's coming out of his adolescence into adulthood, and things are starting to feel funny.
Yes.
I guess
he's
so.
growing hair where there no hair before.
I suppose maybe he is. Maybe he's playing with his changeling abilities. Why does Bashir go all spy and take out? You think like Bashir would want to adopt his secret agent persona for this, but he doesn't. I guess the cease and desist letter.
Frankie is a made man, and if you take him out, they will assume that Vic was somehow involved and he would be done for. So they can't do that. They kind of establish clearly that you can't directly take care of Frankie. You gotta indirectly, figure out how to get rid of him.
Right.
Or you got to figure out where the stop button is.
Well, because you know how, Jaemeel, we were saying at the top, you know how like they were saying like, oh, Vic, come with us, play the Alamo holodeck simulation, right? You know, because we can transfer your Matrix to another holodeck program. And Kevin brought up the point, like, why don't they just build another Las Vegas and transfer Vic there?
They did it for what they do for Moriarty, right? He got his own, portable,
sitting on Picard's knick-knack shelf, as was pointed out by Mariner. So anyway, so some of the gangsters are like telling jokes. This one guy, the enforcer for Frankie Eyes, he's like, I killed Big Paul. Is that his name? Cheech?
Yeah.
Cheech. Yeah, he's like, I thought I was supposed to kill Big Polly, but I killed Little Polly, and they're all laughing about it.
That's the problem with naming everybody Polly.
That's what he says. He's like, yeah, it's a problem in our business. Everyone's named Polly, yeah. And so Odo kind of infiltrates them by telling jokes or whatever. But cut away, we get Kira's part of the assignment, which is her playing blackjack and then basically attracting Frankie Eyes. You know,
she was fantastic. Like she understood the assignment for this episode. Other people were very lacking. So that's a visitor picture though.
No, and I said like
that picture. Go back one. Her eyes.
What's wrong with her eyes?
Okay, Dave.
I don't know. You have to tell me later.
If we have to explain it,
okay.
No problem.
All right. Well, anyway, Frankie Eyes likes her eyes. He's like, it doesn't matter if you have a 26 in 21 blackjack. It's still, you get a new card. So he tries her. We even get like this guys. I
feel bad for the old guy.
The dealer's really pissed off too. Like he's like, fuck.
Yeah, he basically lets her win this thing to, and he kind of, I don't know, he's kind of like the stupidest mob guy I've ever seen, and that's saying something.
Her eyes are fixed there though. That's good.
Yeah, but anyway, so she's romancing him, which makes sense. That's the angle. Whereas Odo is working these thugs in the bar, doing his little not his Cardassian neck bone trick, but rather his long arm thing here, looking like long arm from Cops, doing his thing, which impresses all the mobsters. And he's able to get some info. He says he's from Bajor, which is in Jersey, which is maybe the only thing Kevin liked in the episode.
It makes sense to be in Jersey.
Right. So then they meet up in Vic's suite. We're still nursing, the bruises that Cheech gave him. This is where they basically come up with the plan that they're going to rob the casino. He explains things about this boss guy that Frankie works for. What's his name? Mr. Zemo.
Zemo. Yes,
Zemo.
Yeah.
He's like the mob boss, and he's actually the one who bought the casino, and he's gonna take the skim off the top, the $1 million fresh every month. So it's but what if we could disrupt that money? Then wouldn't that do something? Yes, they're gonna. So it's like the heist is on. But
hold on, was that Ezri there?
She's in this.
Oh, when did she show up? I don't remember.
Actually, you're right. This is the first scene she's in.
I think you literally don't see her until now. Yeah.
Right.
You don't see her till now, but they introduce where she's going to be doing in a scene later on.
Yeah, that's true. She wasn't in Ops earlier, so this is the first time Ezri's in the episode, or even talking about it, right?
Why would she be in Ops?
Again.
Why is
she's a counselor?
Because she probably went up on the same elevator as Bashir.
Bashir had no reason to be an obs, but he was. So
well, that's why his boss told him to go back to work.
Pretty much. He's like, "Do you have work to do? There's a war going on." This is like we're very close to the front lines. Anyway, but we have no time for that. We have time. We're gonna help Vic. We're gonna maybe get him killed, but not really because he's a hologram. So it's things. But then they kind of come up with a plan. There's money coming into the break room. Kira doing her assignment. Kira, like all of her outfits are amazing. In this.
Oh yeah, she looks great in this.
Yeah.
That's maybe like I was like when I was watching this, I'm like, this is maybe the only thing I really like about the episode.
Well, and fun facts: this episode actually won an award, but it's not
for
for what
costume.
you think it was. I'll let you know later.
Okay. Yeah, but you're right, Jaemeel, that like I think Nana Visitor and Kira and the character was really leaned in, like kind of almost out of character for Kira, you know, normally how she behaves in holodeck programs, right? So is that an arc?
Since she got glowed on by Odo earlier on.
Right. She was
right.
Yes.
She's been very understanding when he was horn dogging to the cabaret dancers. She was very understanding and like, you know, enjoy. She like kind of tapped him on his shoulder, like enjoy the visual feast. She's the type of person that would take her man to the strip club and then also put some extra bills for a private lap dance. So
I that seems to be the way, but I would season 1 Kira have done this? You know, I don't know. It's hard to right.
No. She would break Frankie's arm.
Yes, I think even season 5 Kira would, you know, but I think she's really changed a lot.
If anything, Odo has made her a softie because, like, at this point, she's like normally, like you could just have Kira in here. She would just walk in, take out like 20 guys, and call it a day. Like that would be the end of it. She'd be like, "Okay, we're done."
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, so
Frank would be in the background carrying bodies away. Yeah.
We see here that Cassidy's working on the security guard. You know, she's playing the slots, but like, complimenting, like working, who's also a hologram, you know, forming this relationship with him and whatever, right? Because this is like a real world scenario. So, you know, did you play football in North Carolina? I bet you did. Whatever she says to him.
You have the athletic build of an athlete.
Right.
You're right, though, Dave. Every time I see her on screen, I'm like, she's being wasted. Like,
well, that was Kevin's point, but yes.
Oh,
but
was
you're
it
right.
Kevin? Sorry.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Like, she's actually a really good actress. I really enjoy her on The Orville.
Oh, no, she's great on that, too, which we're going to be bringing in a few weeks.
And my favorite character on the Larry Sanders Show.
Yes, she was on that too,
yeah. So anyway, the next scene is over back in the lounge here with Cheech, where he's beating a waiter to death with a cheesesteak, which he doesn't think is up to par.
It probably didn't have the whiz, that's why.
I didn't have the whiz, you know. You call this a cheesesteak. Yeah,
but the fat fuck ate half of it before he bitched about it. Like it's almost gone.
Yeah, but then,
horrible.
He literally shoves it down this guy's gullet. Like it's quite
well. What's left of it?
Yeah. You call this a cheesesteak?
See, this is every fast food employee's worst nightmare. Some asshole who fucking eats 3/4 of it and then complains about it.
Right. And then
now I want my money back.
And you better come back with a real cheesesteak, he tells him, you know. So I don't know.
That might be hard to find on a holodeck, but
to be fair, that cheesesteak looked dry as hell.
It did look dry as hell.
Oh yeah.
So he was just
if it isn't glistening with liquid, it's not a cheesesteak.
Yeah. Cheech. This
is
is
like
this
lettuce there, like lettuce that I could actually see that isn't soggy.
There's no lettuce on a cheesesteak.
Look at that.
You can have lettuce on cheesesteak, but you shouldn't.
We have to get Mon on here to talk about what can.
That ain't right though.
Yeah. Anyway, but this is where Odo brings in Ezra because this is calling in the favor with his little stretch trick with his new friends for Cheech, and he's like, give her a job. She's new in the town. What a waitress, you know. And so she gets hired by Cheech here. This is what this scene is. Then he sees Vic. He's like, I'm gonna have to beat you up, Vic. No, wait. You know, I just want to talk to Frankie Eyes and see if I can get back in working here and whatever, which is what comes next. Frankie or Vic basically begging to Frankie, let me come back and work for you and, you know, get some things. And Frankie wouldn't have done it, but because Kira is in the program and she's influencing Frankie, she's able to get him to agree to this. There you go.
You got it from the source.
from the world mind himself. He wouldn't even put lettuce on a cheesesteak, and he's a vegan. So
right.
anyway, Vic's back in. Okay, then we get the scene here in Cisco's quarters between Cassidy and Ben, where she's talking about the heist and everything that's going on. He's like, "You're telling me my senior staff are doing all this?" I think I pulled that as a clip.
And you're telling me that virtually my entire senior staff is a part of this nonsense.
Nonsense, he calls it.
The whole thing is ridiculous.
It's all ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's more to it.
But
than
shouldn't
that,
you
though.
know that if you're in charge? Like,
but
why is
No,
she
they're
telling
doing
him this?
This is all their off time because nobody's working.
Yeah.
Right. This is just they're allowed to do
Everyone's
what they
off
want.
at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
They get weekends,
Who's running sick bay? That's what I want to know.
Who normally runs it when Bashir is walking around talking to everybody. So
what I could tell.
The person who runs it every other day.
Whoever that doctor was that he tried to transfer the genetically engineered patient lady
okay. Yeah, that's probably
over
that guy.
to. Yeah. So anyway, but Cisco says, "I'll tell you what my problem is here. 1962 Las Vegas. Let's play the speech."
You really want to know what my problem is? I'll tell you. Las Vegas, 1962, that's my problem. In 1962, black people weren't very welcome there. Oh, sure, they could be performers or janitors, but customers, never. In 1962, the civil rights movement was still in its infancy. It wasn't an easy time for our people, and I'm not going to pretend that it was.
Dude, it was 400 years ago. Relax.
Well, I think
Jeez.
this
I
moment
did like this though.
in the episode is significant.
Oh, absolutely.
On a few levels here, I think it's interesting at all to see Cisco acknowledge that in the history and the things, because
it's only been referenced a couple times too in Star Trek.
Well, it's just for a Star Trek character to say it as overtly, to say our people, I think is also sort of like, oh,
Cassidy, what do you mean our people?
Like not the human race? You mean more specifically than that?
Where's Cassidy from on Earth?
We never find out. We don't even know she's from Earth, do we?
Which that's exactly the reason why.
I don't know.
She's human, right? And so whatever.
But she could be from the moon.
She might not be American at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
Kind of sounds.
She's probably from Hawaii.
Hawaii.
I'm thinking the exact same thing.
But I think that there's a good point to what is said here, and I think it's maybe the most interesting thing in the episode, because I'm like, well, that's true, and I think you always have to look at these historical reenactment programs that they run on the holodeck, and that's never really addressed or talked about, and I think it is important to talk about. But what do you guys think?
Before we actually get into this, notice that Alexander Siddig, or what he's named,
Siddig Elfidil or whatever.
Sorry, yeah, this season, never does anything where South Asia is involved in terms of Earth history, no holodeck events, anything like that. Just saying,
right? It's all American,
all American. Because
Well-
I think because they can practically get away with people what exactly is he, right? And that question just remains unanswered through this entire season. This series,
In terms,
assume she's from Boston, by the way,
why?
because her shipping company, there was advertisement for it in Boston.
In Boston.
That's the only link people have right now.
Because she talks about her brother playing baseball on that colony on Cestus 3, right? But
but it looks like the Cassidy Yates Interstellar Freights Company is based
Yates
out of
Freights.
essentially, yes. But
Is that how it's marketed?
And actually, it's actually Picard, series Picard in the episode Remembrance that actually established that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. But
Okay.
all of the captains in all of the major Star Trek series, they're all Americans. So I think maybe that's just my point to Jaemeel is that you're right. When we go to Earth on the holodeck or reenactments of Earth, they're always in the States. They're usually 20th century, whatever. But there's reasons for that because the show is American and set in with American characters, and they shoot it in the States, and just like when they had an episode in Toronto because they shoot Strange New Worlds in Toronto, so sometimes it's
man, don't get World Mind started.
Anyway, but go ahead, guys.
Okay, so interesting point that was brought up in the chat is that Cisco remembers Betty, though he experienced it, so it could be something that he is extremely sensitive about because he still has those feelings.
True,
but he wouldn't have been. Would he have said this before the Benny experience? Is that what we're saying, or he wouldn't have?
I don't know.
He might
or might not. But you cannot destroy an idea.
You cannot destroy an idea.
Right.
My problem with this episode is this is what this episode should be about, but it's not. This is the scene, and that's
it.
well, basically, like, okay, so
this scene is the only good stuff in this episode. Everything else is just like terrible mayonnaise or something. Like,
let's hear Cassidy Yates' counter argument.
Going to VIX isn't going to make us forget who we are or where we came from. What it does is reminds us that we are no longer bound by any limitations, except the ones we impose on ourselves.
She's way wiser than Cisco. I don't care if he's a prophet or something.
But I think they both make really great points.
Absolutely.
That the show does not explore at all.
Well, let's do a heist instead. Heist.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like
let's rip off a Rat Pack movie. It'll be fun.
Right.
They didn't turn off the lights, so
in Las Vegas in the 1960s, they would not have been accepting of Ferengis either. But they're also
true.
They also get to visit the holodeck, right? So because or Worf or whoever, because like they don't necessarily see you as like Starfleet officers or 24th century people or even your skin color. I don't know, but like that's kind of like the idea.
Has that ever been referenced? Has Vic noticed the differences between the different individuals?
I don't think so.
No, not really.
Okay.
Not that
so from his perspective, he's like, "You're black." I didn't know.
I couldn't see it. It's not in my holodeck program. That would have been interesting.
When did that happen? Yeah.
Like, I've been programmed not to know. I
don't see. He said, "Wait, you are," and then kicked him out.
Sorry, this is 1960s.
Sorry, Pally. I'm gonna lose my liquor license if I don't kick you out.
Remember, they wouldn't let Nog couldn't even use a computer because that hadn't been invented yet, so he had to use a pencil, right? So like, I don't know, like they are very period accurate in some ways and not in others. But yeah, I think there's good points made on here. I think it's just like this conversation, like back when I saw it in 1999, and even still now, I'm like this really stands out in Star Trek. I think it's something significant. So if anything, that's in this episode. But then you're right, Kevin, and then it's never talked about again. So it's a one and done. Any final thoughts on this point of it? But I think it's interesting.
Yeah, this was one of two good scenes in the whole show.
Anyway, so Cisco kind of
it comes back. Sorry, I'll be very quick. It comes back to the old theory or the question that people often have is like, what period of time would you like to travel to if you had a time machine, right? And for my perspective and for many others, it's like there's a period of time where you're kind of like, I'm not gonna do that because it wasn't particularly a good period of time for me to just show up, right? Regardless,
right? Yeah.
So
actually, compared to me, with the further back in time I go, the better it is for me. Like it's.
Well,
not really.
Varying degrees.
No.
This conversation is getting dangerous.
I know.
No, I'm just saying in general. Like in general,
yeah. No, I agree.
There's good times,
absolutely,
and there's bad times. And even for you, Dave, there's some bad times for everyone.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. So
What
no one's gonna be like, let's go to the Great Depression, right, and have a good time then. Right?
Well, but even in the Great Depression, some had it worse than others. So it's all relative, I suppose. So anyway, but so Cisco kind of accepts Cassidy's counter argument and says, well, maybe I'm being a little bit too stubborn about this. So we cut away and we're back in the Hollow Suite at Vic's suite as they're kind of planning the heist. What are they going to do? How are they going to get this money, steal from Frankie Eyes so they can get the casino back and get rid of him and whatever? But they need another person. They're talking about who's going to be the extra person in our group. They mentioned Quark. Quark won't do it because Vic's is competition for Quark, even though the Hollow Suite is in Quark's.
Which to me is just messed up. And I'm like, wait, he's not getting a cut? Didn't he get a cut?
He's not involved here.
He just shut him down.
They shut him down. Worf is like, no, I'm not coming. I'm not helping with this nonsense. And so they're like,
Jaxie is dead. I'm not going anywhere.
The other person they bring up, they don't bring up actually, is Jake. Why wouldn't you get Jake for this?
Where is it? Where's the
Jake?
message? Where's the message? Someone said,
yeah. Who's Jake?
Yeah, Jake who?
Jaco.
Jaco.
Anyway,
He's
but
probably
don't worry.
fishing.
They get a knock on the door.
Because Jake frequents Vic's.
Right.
She even mentions that he goes all the time.
Right.
Not when we have this many people to pay for, Kevin.
I guess.
they couldn't ask a security detail individual, someone who wants to join the senior ops crew on an assignment in hopes of breaking the glass barrier that seems to be in place where no one else gets promoted.
Like there are many characters they could have got, like Lita or
where's Garrick?
Yeah.
Jake, Garrick, and Rom are running ops right now.
War's over.
And Worf.
War's over, guys. Don't worry about it.
Well, yeah. Why is Ezri being a server when Lita exists?
Lita,
like,
I don't. Yeah, these are good questions. I have no answers.
She would not have had that issue that Ezri had because she would know where she was going.
Ezri almost fucked up the whole thing.
Right, but Cisco, he put on his civilian wear, guys, and he's here. He's here to be the extra.
There's
man.
not enough African print. I was
on that vest.
He restrained himself.
Yeah. This is 24th century attire, man.
Everyone was thinking
Jaemeel
it.
can say that, but I can't.
I was thinking it. Everyone was thinking it. I'm just saying.
I was definitely thinking it.
Garrick sourced that suit, man. Every piece of that, They're going over the heist. I just couldn't help but notice there Bashir eating pretzels weirdly on the couch during the whole affair.
Not only that, but they're lined up in the bowl. Like,
and the way he looks at them before he eats them is very weird.
He's like, what are these things?
Yeah, like he's never seen a pretzel before. Like they wouldn't have them anymore.
But he's insane. There's no cup of water. Like you just can't eat pretzels like that.
Yeah. Like you're.
Oh no,
that guy's a madman. There's no
you
drink
choke
anywhere
and die
near
on
him.
those. You need some liquid.
Okay, and how come everyone's in their civilian wear except for Odo?
He is like just Odo's nude.
Yeah, technically Odo's always nude.
Right, but they're all wearing like their 24th century civilian stuff, not like their period stuff. Seemingly.
Look at Power Rangers. Each one's wearing a different color.
Ezri has some long fingers, man.
Ezri wore that same shirt when she visited her mom. Anyway, but let's go over the plan again. Cisco wants to hear the plan again. Okay, and then they take us through the heist.
Okay, Frank. I mean Cisco.
How the thing was planned, which it won't. Of course, the heist won't go quite to how it was planned. But it involved Kira distracting Frankie Eyes while Vic and Cisco are the big high rollers at the table. Where are you going to get that kind of money, though? They're asked. The replicator, maybe?
No, he...
I like it when Dave gets salty.
But don't worry. Vic has stored some money somewhere. I guess that's maybe part of Felix's program, too, is that it has to be like in-universe money or something. And what led them to believe that like Cisco would be good at craps?
Oh, did you see him practice?
He practiced
rolling
with the dice. Like, I don't think you can practice rolling dice, guys.
No,
Like, it's
no.
like I I've been rolling dice my whole life, more or less, and I haven't gotten any better at it. Sorry, I heard the actor for Ezra.
I now know.
Anyway, so then there was a count man in the money room where he goes to call his mom. Like, I like how all these like holodeck characters have very intricate like stories to them each. There's the accountant guy who always has a martini at 8:00, which then Ezra bring it. Okay, and then but Bashir's big part in this whole thing was he was going to put the drug in the drink. Why couldn't Ezra? Why couldn't Ezra do this? They don't need Bashir to do this.
Could they they had to get the purplest
Yeah, like you would think like in the technology that they have the ability to make it clear. Like you can go get date raped nowadays and it's clear. Like come on.
But why? What like I don't know.
Well, my only theory is maybe this is like liquid plumber. Like that's the only thing I could think of. But
kill them.
Okay. Like
they're like, we'll rot his insides. It'll be great.
Anyway, so
okay,
they put the drink
Ezra
in.
looking good in that outfit though.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad looking outfit.
Looking good in that outfit.
No complaints there. Yeah, she has the name tag with the Ezri, which is nice. But she brings the drink. This is still the hypothetical heist.
Yeah,
this
the
is not the
planning.
actual, right?
Yeah.
You know, he checks out her butt when she gives him the drink too.
Well, who wouldn't?
That? Yeah. Then Cassidy has to accuse O'Brien of stealing her chips and getting the security guard involved so that they can get him away from the door. This broad's crazy and everything else.
They missed an opportunity here though. They should have O'Brien throwing punches.
Remember, O'Brien must suffer, so
he's got to suffer somehow.
Yeah, you get the strip search in this.
Yeah.
I love how they're like, O'Brien, remember, you got to play innocent. I am innocent.
I am innocent.
It's so great.
Yes,
Bug.
of course you are. It's all make believe.
So then the count man has the drink, so he will run to throw up, and this is where Nog will, as a janitor, he's able to sneak in here into the count room and then get into the safe with those Ferengi ears.
Tired of blocking Jaemeel every time I bring up some of the captions.
It's fine.
And I forgot that Ezri also has to deliver Odo in the form of a serving tray to into the room, right, with the drink, so that Odo can then transform into not just Odo, but Odo with a big suitcase full of carried money, which Odo says he can handle. So I liked that they used Odo's shape-shifting powers in interesting ways.
Except to get into the safe.
Odo.
Except for like getting into the safe.
Yeah.
Which he could have done.
Yeah.
Could he not just like mimicked one of the guards that is allowed in there and just go right in?
No, he can't do faces.
Oh,
he can turn his hand into a suitcase, but he can't make a face. Anyway, so
why didn't he just be a rat and just like sneak in there?
Why couldn't he be like Ezri's bra?
He could have been like
that would have been handy.
I think there's a lot of different scenarios where he could have used his shape-shifting powers to expedite this. But Nog had to have his moment as the safecracker, guys. So that had to happen. Anyway, so then they're going to walk out with the money, and that was the plan. And Vic's like, this is the best plan ever. This is going to work out. Now, of course, it's not going to go so smoothly, guys. We all know that once we get to it. But Bashir's still eating his pretzels.
Without any drinks. That's
No
just
drinks.
gross.
He's insane.
He's such a weirdo.
Yeah. We get a cutaway, and then they're all practicing their bits, including putting the stuff into the drink and whatever. I don't think this needs to be practiced. This was pretty standard.
Well, it's a good thing they practice it because Bashir has to do it twice.
But okay. And then Nog was practicing on the safes, but apparently there was some, like, when he gets there, there's going to be like a fail safe or something, and they're not prepared for that. You think that would have been prepared for it? This is a real, like, not a holographic safe. Like, they replicated this thing, so like they could have replicated more safe doors, I guess, and with different scenarios. But anyway, so that seemed like worth practicing. Odo is practicing his sexy moves and things here on Kira, and she's getting into her dress, and he's zipping it up and kissing her on the shoulder and getting all
Yeah,
Very.
he's all riled up from his first visit there.
Yeah, he liked that cabaret dancing. Cisco practicing with his dice, as you do. Cassidy
I still don't know how you practice craps, but anyway.
Yeah.
I wanted each of them to have like their own holosuite practice session, and you have Cisco there on a street corner shooting dice.
You got Ezra just trying to carry
into a
drinks
cardboard
on a tray.
into a cardboard entry. Yeah.
You got Kira just trying to be sexy, like she's practicing on, I don't know, like just a mannequin head, or maybe on Noto.
You've got dreams, haven't you, Dave?
Yeah, but guys, let's talk about the montage scene where they actually all walk up together. I think this is kind of fun with them all dressed up and walking down the promenade. And
I'm like, oh, someone could make like a clip intro like Angel's theme.
They could. Yeah, they're all walking, and Quark's like, "What the hell?" They all walk in.
Well, imagine you're like a like mid-level supervisor type thing, and you see the entire senior staff walking around in outfits during a wartime.
Yeah,
like,
not war.
They're at war, and these guys are all walking around the promenade like this. It's like, okay,
yeah. Yeah, but we know that people go to the holosuites all the time dressed up, so I don't know how weird this would be, really.
Well, I think when you're senior staff during a wartime, I would think that would be a little odd.
Maybe, but then you got Bashir and O'Brien dressing up for the Alamo all the time in the Battle of Britain.
I agree completely, Sam.
There would have been fire here. Not that Ezra's not.
Anyway.
And what I think Quark says that more. There's something going on at Vix. I think he's completely. I don't know.
I think
the only line.
Part of what I don't like about Vic is that we get much less Quark now.
Right.
True.
Like, anything you would have said in the bar starts getting said in Vix. A lot of the conversations that would have been Quarks end up becoming Vix conversations.
Yeah.
He's right. It is competition.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now we're into the heist. Kira starts working on Frankie Eyes, wants him to buy her a drink and get going here. We got Cassidy and Brian doing their craps, setting up their stuff. You got Bashir waiting to put his drink thing in here. Them signaling.
All of these people looking at each other like, oh, good job connecting each other to.
Yeah, not conspicuous at all.
Yeah, because even in the 60s, casino security was pretty on point when it came to this kind of crap. Like,
oh yeah, even
they would have saw through this at a heartbeat.
Right.
Where are the cameras? Oh, cameras don't exist in this time period.
Not cameras, maybe. Well, they might have had some rudimentary.
They had cameras.
Yeah,
they had cameras.
Even in 1962.
Yes.
Are you kidding? They mostly don't exist in the 23rd century or 24th century.
Right.
That's true. Because you could break out of any cell in Star Trek and no one knows what happened.
Nobody knows who got murdered in the promenade by Laws last week. No one saw it. It all happened so fast.
No cameras.
Anyway. I don't know what to really touch upon here in all the beats during the heist, but just basically the heist kind of goes off kilt here in a couple ways. One is that Ezri tries to go get the drink poisoned or thing, but the tray gets hit by one of these hologram guys, and then the drinks are spilled. Oh no! What will we do?
I never noticed her hands until now, and oh my god, she's got long fingers.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder she probably plays piano. She plays piano.
Oh yeah, I hope she plays piano. She's probably a fantastic piano player.
But Bashir thinks quick on his feet here, guys. And he just grabs two more.
Bashir keeps this stuff from falling off the rails twice, man.
Yeah, and he's able.
That's our man Bashir right there.
But remember, Ezri could have just put this in the drink when she picked the drinks up from the bar
and spilled it twice.
No spills.
True. Yeah, actually, let's be honest. If Ezri did have the function to do this plan would already be done. Like it's gone. On top of that, if you get a martini and it's fucking purple, you question that shit.
No, it goes away.
It goes away.
Oh, did it go away? Okay.
It dissolves. Like that was one of the things they showed is that it dissolves.
Oh, okay.
Or almost right away once you do a stir. Bashir actually orders a martini earlier on. He says stirred, not shaken.
Yeah, obviously Bond.
Yeah. Wasn't great. Anyway, so Ezri brings the drink to good old, but it's not the guy they're expecting.
Yes.
It's him. Okay, this
It's
is
Bob
the one, right?
Newhart.
It sounds like kind of like Bob Newhart.
It is Gowron himself, Bob
Yes.
O'Reilly.
Wait
Yeah.
a second.
If you look at the eyes, it's
Yeah,
Tell me I
it's-
couldn't have Quark in this episode for the most part, but I got Galron.
you got Gowron. That's him. And he doesn't want the martini. And so, but I thought it was interesting that Ezri's counter here is like, well, maybe I can drink it. And then he's like, no, you're not allowed to drink it. It's for me because I'm a bad guy. So,
Because I'm Galron.
I'm Gowron. Wolf.
Sorry, I'm gonna mute myself.
Wolf, I'm gonna throw up. So
Norman
Wow.
Galron gets taken out twice in this season.
glory to this toilet.
I wonder if his eyes
Glory
come
to
right
the
out of his head
bathroom.
when he's throwing up.
Yeah, I wonder what he says when he's throwing up.
That'd be interesting.
So,
Anyway,
okay.
and they get the whole thing here with O'Brien and Cassidy starts kicking off with the security guard, and that's all kind of playing out. But they have to keep it going longer, I guess, than they had planned. Right, is the other aspect of this, because Nog does get in there, maybe slightly after. There goes Gowron as he goes.
He's
to throw
grabbing his mouth. He should be grabbing his ass.
Both.
I mean, he's grabbing his ass, yeah. But anyway, Nog starts working on it, and he's like, there's the safe has a fail safe or something like that. Like, it's gonna be harder.
It
So,
resets. I think he was saying. Yeah.
It's a resetter or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Like
the
something they
dude
weren't
is
planning.
oozed.
For.
Get into that shit.
Mhm. So they're all just kind of trying to keep the time going. They keep looking at their watches a lot. They're just doing whatever, trying to buy more time. Luckily, the phone call with the other counter goes a little longer than expected. This kind of just goes on and on.
It does.
Yes, you're right. That's the
That's
greatest
That's
review
pretty
for
much
this.
the whole episode, really.
Yeah.
Zemo shows up. I think this guy was maybe like a famous mob actor or something, but he sucks in this. Like, he's just like, hey,
Mhm.
what's going on? I guess he kind of seems like an authentic mob guy, so maybe
He was probably like the janitor on the Paramount
feels-
lot.
his name is Robert Miano. He's known as an underworld actor. He plays lots of underworld parts.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I loved his work with Kate Beckinsale.
Okay. He wants to see the
All right.
money. Kira's I don't know. Like, I don't need to touch on all this. But
No.
yeah, they're trying to get there. Like, this goes on forever with Nog. Like, he keeps trying to get into the safe. Like, you talk about killing time.
Yeah.
Like,
They should have done it 3 times. Just do it 3 times. You don't need to do it. It seemed like it was like 8 or so.
Yeah.
uh
Got a full house.
Full
Yeah.
house. But the countman starts heading back. Oh yeah, and then Bashir has to jump in here and distract that guy. But Frankie Eyes is waiting for you out back. Well, I didn't do anything. Well, you have nothing to worry about. But then, like, wouldn't he get out there, not find Frankie Eyes, and just turn right around?
Or
Like,
you'd
you
wait
would
for him.
think.
but in the meantime, Cisco and Vic, who
They're
don't,
still standing there.
I don't know. It was interesting putting these two together, but they're trying to
Ebony
figure
and
out something.
Ivory.
They're just trying to stall for time.
Ebony and
For Nog and Odo to
Ivory.
finish.
Yeah.
Again, like we said, like Odo could have used his shape-shifting powers to break into that safe, but doesn't.
Or they could have used their 24th century technology to disrupt use some energy to disrupt the safe.
Or
Like,
they could have went and walked around the hall suite to the back server and just hit the reset button. That probably would help too.
There are a lot of ways
So-
out, but they couldn't think of any of those guys. So
Here's the thing. They didn't need to steal the money. The money didn't need to be stolen. It just not need to be there. So
Right.
they could have
Yeah.
burned it, right?
right, they could have burned it. You're right. So like, and as we saw from the last episode, changelings can exist as fire. So Odo could have got into the safe and it become fire.
He could have got into the safe and become the inside of the safe
Right.
in front of the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cisco's plan here is just to throw money in the air. Wasn't this Vic's money?
Yes.
This is also from the movie they ripped off.
Oh, this happens in the movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Which movie?
Also, don't worry, the money's not real.
Ocean's 11, the 1960 version.
Yeah, ish.
They did a scene with it. It wasn't like a main thing, but
okay.
Yeah.
They caused a disturbance with throwing money up.
And then Bashir gets it on the money throwing, and just like, what is going on? And then they finally get in, start piling in the money. The only other twist here is like O'Brien ends up in a strip search. Presumably they're going up his butt to look for Cassidy's chips. I don't know whether they found any or not.
Check the crevices. That's where he has it.
Yeah. Right. But then Cassidy keeps flirting with the security guard, just to keep him distracted while Odo and Nog conspicuously come out of that room where nobody would ever notice them. Yeah.
I think Sam's right here.
What's that? What did he say?
He said, we've been talking about this episode for too long.
I know, guys. What's the end here? Well, they go, the money's not there, and Zemo not too happy with Frankie Eyes.
Zemo looks like half his face is melting.
More or less. And
he looks like that guy from like the end of
He looks like he is chosen poorly.
He chosen poorly. You have chosen poorly.
He always looks like he's the same actor, but I don't think he is.
Wow, that's great.
The cabaret. So we see here that Frankie Eyes and what was the other guy, Cheech? They're kind of escorted out here. We're led to believe that they're going to be murdered in the outside.
Murder. Yes, murdered.
We murdered him.
They're gonna be murdered.
Catch us murdered. Who are you gonna murder?
Gonna be murdered.
I murdered him.
I murdered him.
Probably with a Philly cheesesteak. Get shoved down his throat. A real dry one. With lettuce.
Right. And as soon as like Frankie Eyes and the whole thing kind of resets, Vic is back to the way it was, and that's it, guys. The magic is done. And there are no more customers in the lounge either. So business is not.
What was this casino still open?
Yeah, it seems like under Vic's
make any money?
Under Vic's management, it's not going so well, guys. But it's more brightly lit at least. So
they could have solved this in like 20 seconds. All they had to do was tell Quark, you know what, you got to figure out how to stop this fucking program because it's going to make more money than you, and he would have been on it like that.
Yeah.
True.
That would have been the end of it.
You think you'd want him for a heist, yeah. But O'Brien does show up, and they go, "What happened to you, O'Brien?" I definitely pulled that.
I don't want to talk about it.
He doesn't want to talk about it. They have a toast, and then
the unsung hero of Starfleet.
To finish this up, we're gonna get a song here with Vic and Cisco.
The best is yet to come.
Which
I was like, not Ebony and Ivory? Come on.
That would have been way better.
No, it wasn't period. Like that song wasn't written until like 1980, so it wouldn't have been out yet. It had to be
Are all the songs period specific though?
Not the Alamo song he sang at the top of the episode. That was written just for the show. And I feel like this song is written for these. Is the best is yet to come a real song?
It's a real song.
It's a real
song. I guess that makes sense. It sounds like something it would be really written. What do you guys think of the Avery Brooks performance?
Well, he's got that background, so he doesn't know how to sing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was not a fan. I don't think
I wouldn't say it was great, but he does sing. Like that comes from his theater.
Come and be, won't it be fine?
I think if he molded that a little bit better, it probably would come out nice.
It's okay. It's like it'd be fine at karaoke.
He's got a great voice.
He's not a big band type of person. No. He's more of a jazz person. And they should have found a jazzy.
He did like a BB King song. That would be great.
Yeah.
Especially with that musky voice.
The song, it's okay. And it goes on for like 2 minutes.
It's like a 3-minute part of the song. Like literally, they not only did they waste my time for 40 minutes, they gave me another 3 minutes at the end that fucking just was total waste of time too.
I wanted synchronized dancing where like
oh, that would have been amazing.
A tap dance routine would have been great.
Yeah, tap dance solo.
And then they ask O'Brien to come up, and he's like, "No, I'm too sore."
And then the next episode is like, okay, Vic is complaining that Cisco keeps showing up.
Yeah.
Regarding the mic.
He's there all the time now. Where's Cisco? He's at Vic's.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Tap dancing?
But like,
Vix is like, you gotta help me, Pally. You gotta get rid of Cisco.
You thought these gangsters were bad?
He
Oh
took
man,
over the
Cisco being
casino.
here all the time. That's even worse.
all right.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry it took me so long to run through the plot. It shouldn't have. But
No, that's not your fault. That's the
Plot
plot's
is-
fault.
It's the plot's fault and also our fault because we kept interrupting you.
It's okay. There's a lot. There was a lot to talk about, and yet not.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, how about some fun facts? And let's get the trivia. What don't we know about this? Maybe.
I don't know. Let's find out, shall we?
Let's find out.
All right.
Why? I don't know why.
This was Mark Lawrence's final television appearance before his death in November 27th, 2005, at the age of 95.
It shows.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why we noticed that.
He died 2 months before this episode.
I wasn't going to go there, but that was good. Art director Randy McAlvin says that he studied both Ocean's 11 from 1960 and Elvis Presley and Margaret's Viva Las Vegas from 1964 for inspiration designing the casino. I don't think that's the only inspiration you pulled from that. Well, I guess the writers pulled the other part.
Yeah.
The music playing when the crew walk into Quark's to get to the Holosuite Casino is a reorchestrated version of the Deep Space Nine main theme. Portions of the arrangement can be heard at various points in the episode. The music played in the casino at the beginning of the episode after Frankie Eyes takes over. It's an arrangement of Night Train. So there you go.
I'd say that the score is maybe one of the better parts of the episode.
It might be. This episode was a pet project for Ira Stephen Burr, who is the writer, who also wanted to do a caper show for years.
But this, it's too self-indulgent.
It's very self-indulgent.
So, okay, if this was like an animated program or an anime specifically, this is what would be an OVA, right? It would be for video only, and it would be packed in with like the season when you bought the season. Right? Because you wouldn't
this would be like a bonus episode. Yeah.
This is not really.
This would be like if I became a writer. No, let's say Jaemeel, you're a big like anime guy. You just mentioned anime, so like that you became a writer on Star Trek, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do a Star Trek episode, but it's all going to be anime, and it's like it's going to be all your favorite anime stuff. And I think some of the audience might go, "Dude, Star Trek's not an anime show." I feel like that's kind of what Iris,
or at least the subject stuff. Yeah,
some
of the subject.
Is my analogy landing here or
a little?
It's pretty weak, but still I understand your point.
When
just
Kira,
barely made her.
Yeah, when Kira and Odo first enter the casino, Kira is once again wearing the dress and earrings worn by Lola Crystal, the holographic version of Kira seen in Vic's lounge in His Way from 1998. The real Kira also sported this look in Chrysalis 1998. So there you go. So that's
Chrysalis?
an homage. Chrysalis. I can't remember what episode that is actually.
That was earlier in this season. Chrysalis.
But apparently we've seen them before. Many times actually.
Oh, that was the episode where Bashir dated his patient.
Yeah. God.
Oh yes, okay. Cisco mentions racial prejudice, supposedly unknown among humans in Trek's universe's 24th century. This has confused many viewers who feel characters of this era should be beyond that. It may make sense if we assume that he is channeling memories from his experience as Benny Russell in Far Beyond the Stars, which I think one of you guys brought up earlier.
It was brought up in the chat from Norm.
Like I find it hard to believe. I get like humanity's moved past a lot of that, but like Cisco would have went to school and learned history too. So
yeah, but I don't think it wouldn't be so deep with him until he had that experience, right?
Right.
So I think that might be the bigger thing. Like it's more deep into him now.
And I think from Cisco's perspective, he doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to other races. Like he's not going to Klingons and going like, in 1960, blah, blah, blah. He's not doing that. But like when you're talking about a very specific period of time, he has thoughts, right? Just like if, a Jewish person, someone made reference like, "Hey, we're going back in time of World War II."
Yeah,
you know, there's going to be feelings of
it's Poland,
regardless.
1938. It's how you feel, right?
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
When Frankie and Vic Fontaine first confront each other in the lounge, there's a crack about South Philly. James Darren is actually from South Philly, so that was more of a nod with him as well, which is always nice. Only the third time Nog is seen without his Ferengi headdress after Take Me Out to the Holosuite, and it's only a paper moon. All 3 instances occurred in the show's 7th and final season.
Whether those Ferengis are wearing those things or not, I don't notice. Like, it's really...
I really don't pay it that much attention to them, but yeah, it's true. Jake Sisko does not appear in this episode, despite his father and best friend both participating and Cassidy Yates mentioning him by name. Jake had previously been shown as a patron of Vic's Lounge, making the absence all the more pronounced.
It's weird that he's not, like, you feel like this is the episode you need Jake for. He's a main cast member. He's in the friggin' credits. Every week, and he's barely in this show. You know,
I hope he got paid for the season, not per episode.
Oh, I think back then they did get paid for the season. But it's also it's a percentage of what he's expected to be in, right? So I think it's kind of works out that way. When delivering drinks, dollar bills can be seen in Esri's bustier. She really did get into the character. So there you go.
Or people were trying to get in to her character.
Esri's been a man several times. She knows how to get the tips.
Yeah, she knows how to get the money. Tony Cece, was it Cece or Sissy? Can't remember. Which was played by Mike Starr, is seen harassing a waiter because he can't get a good cheesesteak sandwich. In 1962, the only place you could get a cheesesteak sandwich was Philadelphia. So
you couldn't get one back in 1960?
Guess not. Very oppressed times back then. You didn't even have, they put lettuce on it too, like crazy.
Well, why do you think Cisco didn't want to go?
Yeah, it makes sense now.
So, it's the cheesesteaks, really.
As I said earlier,
Jambalaya.
They were nominated for an Emmy for this episode. Anybody have a guess as to what it's for?
Set design,
choreography,
nope. Music,
nope.
Music,
nope.
Score,
nope.
It's not special effects.
Hairstyling,
yeah,
outstanding hairstyling.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is fine,
maybe I think Kira's hair looks good in a lot of.
It's so Kira, Cassidy, and Esri. That's why.
It's also noted that this is the last lighthearted episode of the DS9 series. So
good.
It's just from now.
Like, how many lighthearted episodes did I need in a row here?
In our final season?
In our final season about a war, an interstellar war that's threatening the entire galaxy.
Might as well take the day off, boys.
Yeah,
no
but
war
mess
today.
Around with this 1960s Vegas hologram,
And we'll end on this one. This is the only episode that explicitly points out that Cisco, Cassidy, and Jake are in fact black. Oh, I didn't know.
I couldn't tell.
It is the only reference to race or skin color within the canonical events of DS9, excluding the 1950s scenario in Far Beyond the Stars, dreamed by Cisco. This is an unusual thing for Cisco to complain about to Cassidy, since in the 24th century, race differences are meaningless, as they are in all of Star Trek canon. And especially noteworthy example of inconsequential racial casting in the Star Trek Discovery, where the black main characters similarly disregard any racial differences. One reason is because they are so many other races or species from the planets, as the galaxies are more diverse than Earth was in our time.
Right, like
Saru was hunted and his race was hunted and eaten.
Yeah.
I couldn't drink for water. I couldn't drink for water fountain. Sorry.
Well, I think like it's this episode is interesting, right? Like in the fact that it kind of broke.
It's not.
Well, no, not in the sense that the episode, but in the fact that they broke with that sort of thing they've been doing in Star Trek up to that point, which is like, we never talk about race. We never even acknowledge that in the history. We're past it. We're so past it. Who could even remember is kind of the way it's presented, which I'm always like, well, okay, but like, that's not really how human beings are. So it's kind of like you're kind of saying we're going to become something else, which is fine. But now you're kind of this episode kind of makes us feel like maybe that's not so much the case. I don't know. Like it's hard to really it's kind of hard to reconcile because I'm like, okay, Cisco's like our people are this, that, right? But so he's still he's identifying as a black human being, not just a human being. Right?
I think Kevin hit it best when he said that was the only thing good in this whole episode. The one thing that was great in the episode they didn't bother to touch.
I think this is probably Avery Brooks's influence because this Star Trek should talk about race.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
They talk about species constantly,
right? But that's just not how they have been doing things up in before, right? So it's well,
and I think we got more of that in like Voyager and even in the later series we got some more of that. But
it's done through analogy. Like you get a little bit of that
with analogy though,
with especially with the B'Elanna Torres, Tom Paris pregnancy and that kind of stuff. But it's not as on the nose as this. It's
true.
More,
it's not direct as it was here. Yeah.
Right. So
Kevin, you're right. They bring up an interesting concept, and then it is quickly swept under the rug for more heist hijinks, and it's like
it's not even good heist.
Even bother? Why'd you even bother mentioning it then? If we're not even going down that path,
the 15 minutes of the actual heist was not that exciting. Like it was like when you think of a heist movie, you think of like excitement and things going wrong, and they have to quickly adapt. And Bashir, yes, he did that, but like it was just boring. I don't know.
Did you want it to follow Ocean's 11?
No, I wanted it to be original, but it wasn't. And I wanted it to actually have some sort of excitement. If it's going to be a caper, make it a caper.
What I mean by Ocean's 11, and that's for people who haven't seen Ocean's 11 1960 version, they don't actually win. They don't.
No, they lose right at the end.
Right? Yeah. They survive. Well, most of them, I think.
They think they win. And then they find out that there was a coffin, and that was a problem.
Yeah. So, I would have preferred if there was some kind of twist. There wasn't really. So
no,
I would have preferred if there was anything interesting. Yeah.
Well, on that note, guys, let's rate this. So Jeff not with us. Adam said he would watch. I was really curious to hear what Adam would think of this, but he's not with us tonight.
0.3, Sam. Sam's giving it a 0.3.
Oh, I
don't think I'm that hard on it.
I'm not that hard on it. It's just kind of okay. Like last week was 5. I liked this better than last week.
It's no Emperor's New Clothes.
Are you fucking high? You like this better than last week?
You like the Laws episode better than this?
At least it had something to say. I mean, it wasn't great, but
it's not great. But I'm going like 6.5. Like
oh wow.
You're not going to like this, Kevin. I'm giving this a 6.6.
All right.
Are you going to let him do that to you, Dave?
That's okay. It's not The Price is Right, but
I'm saying 6.6. I'm only saying 6.6 because I like it 0.1% better than last episode.
Okay, right.
Okay. I think last week's episode is better, even though not much, but it is better. I would say this is maybe a 4 at max. And even then, you know what? I feel even bad giving it a 4. I think maybe a 3.5. Sorry.
You feel bad for who?
For me. Like I feel like I've caused injustice to myself by giving it that high of a score. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
I feel bad because channel contributor Heather said that this is one of her top 5 favorite episodes of all time. So Heather, if you're listening,
I could understand why. The reason why this gets like what seemingly is a high mark for me is because I like heists. I like Vegas type of scenarios and movies along those lines. So it's like all the stuff, the Trek stuff, it fails in. But like I got a heist-esque type of situation. The music was on point. I like the costumes and like the characters acting. Like I got enjoyment from the episode. It's a 6.6. it's
Yeah,
it
like that.
builds on all the other things that are really important, but like on a pure enjoyment level, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think I'm with Jaemeel on this. Like, it's fine, but I don't love it. Like it's serviceable.
I think if it wasn't a Star Trek episode, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
All right, to Kevin.
You're all wrong. This is 0. It sucks.
All
across.
Comes in with the 0.
There's nothing here.
He's going with
There's
the 0.
nothing.
The Emperor's New Cloak, he gave a 1.
They tried to do something and then they walked away from it immediately. It sucks.
That's the only reason why I gave it as much as I did.
No stakes. It's
Kevin,
crap.
you gave the Emperor's New Cloak a 1. You're saying this is worse than the Emperor's New Cloak.
Oh God, it's awful.
All right, just making sure you're good with it.
And last week I'd go 6.5 last week.
Oh yeah, you were not here last week because you were sick. 6.5 for the Chimera episode, which I was really like not a huge fan of that episode.
It's not that great of an episode, but I still think it's better than this one.
Yeah, well, it's okay. So we're averaging a 4.2 without Davin or Adam or Jeff or anybody else voting here.
Once Davin shows up,
this has a 7.6 on IMDb, meaning that overall the audience kind of likes it more than at least the last 5 episodes we've watched. So that's kind of
it just goes to show you that review aggravation just doesn't work.
Aggregation.
There you go. Sorry, I had the wrong word there.
And who is the this is the Vic's episode, right?
This is a Vic. Yeah, this is a Vic episode, I think.
Yeah, Vic episode.
All right. So that is the end. That's all for Badda-Bing Badda-Bang. Guys, the next episode is in Latin. So let me see if I can pronounce this. Inter arma enim silent leges.
Which one's that?
Well, that's the one where basically Bashir goes to Romulus,
okay.
Section 31, and Luther Sloan, with assignment to find out what the hell's going on. And it's that's what we got coming up next week. You guys remember this one?
Vaguely.
I remember this episode being very interesting. One because
Norman says it's going to be a good episode.
Yeah, it's more like that world building, which is what I thought DS9 did so well a lot of the time. And I think they go to Romulus, they're dealing with these bigger politics. They actually make use of the Voyager sets because they go with basically Bashir goes with Bill Ross on like another Intrepid class ship, which isn't Voyager but looks just like Voyager. And some of the, I guess it's more like the dirty stuff the Federation does, which we never talk about. It's kind of like it feels like it's kind of connected to In the Pale Moonlight, but it's kind of Bashir's version of In the Pale Moonlight in some ways. So, I'm looking forward to talking about that one. When Jody's like, we're done with these feel-good, happy episodes, I'm like, you know what? I think I've had my fill here this final season.
There you go.
Well, it'd be nice to get back to that war that they were talking about.
Like the fact that they had this episode and the baseball episode in the first half, I feel like is part of the problem,
I don't like baseball and I didn't really care that much for that episode, but I understand why people like it. It's nice to get the characters out of the norm, and I get that, but it's just compared to this episode, it's much better. We
need more Garrick, more Damar, more Wayoon, more Kaiwin, more Ducat, none more Vic and nobody.
Yeah,
and one of the most interesting characters you have on the actual station had one fucking line in this entire episode, which was Quark. Right.
And the characters who are like the civilians, like Quark and Jake, who would make sense to put into this episode, they're not even in it.
Yeah,
they're not in it.
So I don't know.
It would have been great if Jake at the end saved the day or something, something like that. Give him a little bit of a spotlight.
Since this is an episode that involves no Starfleet shenanigans whatsoever, it seems like that's. But yeah, so that's it's real failing for me too. But I don't hate it. I don't hate watching it either. So anyway, we got any more ratings here? You can't. World Mind says you can't have 23 episodes of pure war.
Okay, hold on here. MASH was a fucking comedy, dude. It was supposed to be funny.
Even MASH had its light episodes. Were they all light episodes?
So MASH, when they had a dark episode, that was the not norm. Like that was the whole point. Like it was supposed to show the
right,
the black and white.
Some sitcoms would do that. A lot of comedies would have like that occasional dark.
Ash was fantastic.
On a very special episode.
Sorry, I agree with him, but this isn't even funny. This isn't a light episode. There's nothing.
No,
it's so light. It's just nothing.
I'm not saying I want to see only never-ending battle scenes, although that would be. I wouldn't.
You know what this is? This is the refreshment equivalent to flavored sparkling water. That's what this is. You think it's going to be good. You buy it and you're like, oh, that's going to be a good flavor. And then you open it up and you're like, wow, it tastes like fucking metal water.
This is a bad.
That's exactly what this is.
Is that what you're saying?
What?
Bublé.
This is a bad.
No, I'm not going against Bublé. I've never tasted it, but or whatever it's called, bubbly or whatever.
Bubbly.
But there's a lot of very disappointing flavored waters out there. It's a nothing burger.
Nothing burger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where's our graphic? I think somebody deleted it.
Did he?
Yeah, somebody deleted it. I looked for it earlier and I couldn't find it.
All right. I don't know. I had nothing to do with it.
That's fine. It doesn't matter.
If I did. Okay, guys. Well, on that note, we're gonna sign off. I think we can move
You're
on.
not going to plug any shows?
We should plug a few shows.
Oh, okay.
What do we got coming up, guys? This week, Wednesday, Jaemeel and I are going to be talking about the second episode of Survivor, along with Foster and Jeff. Check that out. Survivor 46 into full swing now. Yeah, and then are we? Well, I guess we'll look out on the United Federation of Podcasts channel. Jaemeel and I are also doing our last Airbender reaction videos now with Murphy.
Yak Benders.
We had 2 of those episodes out where we watched that show, and you can watch us watch it. So look out for that in the near future. Well, there's already 2 new episodes, but watch out. Or there's already
now, have we officially announced yet what is coming after this series?
We have talked about it. Yeah. So we have Star Trek: The Next Generation coming after this podcast, and then also we're going to be doing the Orville, and we're launching both in the same time.
Cassidy Yates
with Cassidy Yates, Penny Johnson. Yeah,
Penny Johnson.
Right. So look.
Anytime I show up, expect a low rating, especially in the first season.
For what? Orville?
Yes, Orville.
Oh, you don't like Orville?
I don't like the shitty comedy in the Orville.
Well, the first season had a lot of shit.
It gets better.
Yes.
Like it's less of a laugh factory.
It gets more Star Trek-y and less parody of Star Trek.
Mercer becomes less of a main character, and that's why.
Yes, and that makes it much better.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
We're excited about those. Also, here on the in the Federation, there's a channel called X-Rated, X-Men the Animated Review Show with Andre and Davin every Tuesday. They talk about every episode of the original cartoon of X-Men, but they've done a lot of interviews. Tomorrow they're going to have on George Buza, the voice of Beast from from X-Men, but he was also he was in the X-Men movies. He was the trucker in the first X-Men movie. He was on a show. He was on a show called Maniac Mansion, which I love.
Yeah, Maniac Mansion.
Oh yes.
And
I'm forgetting something.
He was also Mean Gene in Meatballs 3.
There you go.
Oh, really?
Dempsey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Meatballs 3 in ages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So George Buza
series again.
He's on X-Rated tomorrow, interviewing with Davin and Andre. So look out for that. That's gonna be exciting.
If there are no meatball questions, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
I don't know what this means.
Oh yeah, Jaemeel, we also have Big Brother Canada starting this week, don't we? Too. So
do we? Okay.
It's your pick, by the way, in the draft.
Okay.
So what is this mystery All-Stars thing?
Well, there's two players we don't know who they are. They're like returning players for Big Brother Canada, and
I am going to go on the record right now and say I have nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Davin on the Orville.
Never
let no, we want him on every episode.
Yeah, just so we can prove to him that the show is good.
It is good,
and then he'll change his
tune. That doesn't work that way. That doesn't work.
I don't need to prove it to him. I just want to see him suffer.
Hey, we converted Kevin on Enterprise, so
yes,
Kevin was a firm hater.
So
Kevin and Davin are not the same.
Yeah, one's more open-minded, and the other one's Davin.
So we're definitely not covering every episode of Big Brother Canada on the Super Mario Brothers, but we might do
not this year, folks.
We might just do a couple episodes or even just the cast and talk about that or something.
Well, it ends up getting really
and then the finale or something.
right? Like there's so many episodes.
It's just too much. Too many weeks, too many episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Eamon on his channel, on the Eamon on Track channel, this Thursday, he'll be on with Davin and I. We're talking about the very best of Stan Rogers, the album, all the hits from Stan Rogers, a Canadian folk singer. Stan Rogers?
No clue.
Well, you're going to be educated.
Who?
He was actually from Hamilton.
Do you know who that is?
He died in 1983, so it's not not that surprising you don't know who he is, but
like would I know anything that he's done?
You would know some of his songs for sure.
Oh, okay.
He like the Northwest Passage, like that one
guy. Okay.
That guy.
Every time Dave's drunk, I hear that guy.
If you're like, we're teaching Eamon about his Nova Scotian heritage, even though Stan Rogers technically from Ontario, but it's complicated. So, where we talk about that.
Worldmind wants to just remind everybody that they're covering sports in the next episode of Hold Up.
Sports go.
Oh,
sports.
that's me.
Oh, you're in that.
Do you know
when? I don't know when that is.
What are the movies? What are the movies for sports?
I don't even remember. I know one is Cool Runnings, and then
I hope one of them's basketball, because that would be amazing.
Picked 8 Men Out, and I don't remember what the
8
other
Men
one
Out's
is.
a great movie.
Okay, so I assume Cool Runnings is Murphy's, and let's see.
No, I think
what
it was
would
Davin's.
Really?
I think so.
Cool Runnings is Davin's? Really? That'd be interesting.
That
hold on. We just got the information. 8 Men Out, Cool Runnings, and Foxcatcher.
What's
And next
Foxcatcher's a
episode
sports
is
movie?
Kevin Millard, and it is on the 20th of March.
Okay, good.
Kevin, 20th of March.
I got some time.
What's
Be there.
Foxcatcher?
It's a biographical psychological sports film. What?
About what?
That sounds like a Murphy pick.
The film's plot is loosely based on the events surrounding multimillionaire E.I. DuPont family heir and wrestling enthusiast. What is this? Is
Oh,
So it's wrestling. Oh, okay. It's like
like Olympic
It's-
wrestling?
yeah.
Okay, that's sport.
Well, I guess you have to watch the podcast to find out, guys.
All right.
Murphy wouldn't not Murphy. Davin wouldn't allow. He's like, wrestling's not sports. You can't do that one. Oh, it's Olympic wrestling. That's fine. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Yeah, most sports. Well, not all of them. Okay, but look out for that on Hold Up. Okay, and
I
with
kind
that,
of like Jameel's impression of Davin.
Kevin, don't let Davin speak it with a Jamaican accent, please.
Okay,
I'll try.
I'm going to go on the record and say, Kevin, make sure that.
No, can you make sure he does?
Yeah, I want you to make sure he does.
I called it out immediately in the last episode, what I was on with the harder they come.
Mine says spot on.
Thank you.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, do you guys want? How about a song? It's long, but when will I ever get to play it again? All right.
Big Blue Couch.
Almost a
Big Blue
2-hour
Couch.
podcast.
Big Blue Couch. Big
All right.
Blue Couch.
Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum.
You came along and everything started to hard.
I'm in Vegas, by the way. I don't know if you know
Still, it's a real good bet. The best is yet to come.
It better be in this season.
The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fun?
I got some disappointing news for you. If you're
You
thinking this is
think
the best
you've
season.
seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine.
I don't mind
Wait
this song.
till the warm-up's underway. Wait till our lips have met.
Please,
Wait
Paramount,
till you
don't
see
sue.
that sunshine day. You ain't seen nothing.
Jameel's like,
yet.
I'm not even going to listen to this shit. I'm putting my head down.
Buy the album. They have the album on record and CDs.
The
Why isn't it
best is
over?
yet to come the day.
It's like 2 minutes long.
It's 2.5 minutes.
Wait till your charms
All right.
are ripe for the
I can't even get through it. All right, let's.
What?
let's just-
No,
let's
hold
just-
on. I wanted to hear the rest of it.
Oh, it's done.
No.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
I'd have to restart it now. So
Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
Out of here.
Now let's get out of here.